Rachel Miller never thought much about the man in the bookstore. He was always there, flipping through old paperbacks, sipping black coffee, blending into the background. He never spoke to her. Never approached. But whenever she glanced in his direction, he was already looking. Maybe it was just her imagination. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Until one night, Rachel came home to her quiet apartment and noticed something strange. Her favorite book, the one she always kept on the middle shelf, was on the coffee table. Open. Pages creased, like someone had been reading it. But Rachel lived alone. The next morning, an anonymous note slipped under her door. Just 3 words. "You are perfect." Rachel laughed it off. Tossed the note away. Told herself it was nothing. She had no idea that someone had already made her part of their plan. Rachel threw the note away without thinking much of it. Probably a dumb prank. But the next morning, something else felt off. Her apartment door was locked, just like she had left it. But when she reached for her keys, she noticed the doormat was slightly out of place. Just a few inches to the left. She frowned but brushed it off. Maybe she'd kicked it without realizing. Then, later that evening, another detail. Her bedroom window, one she always kept closed, was open. Only by an inch. Rachel hesitated before shutting it, her fingers resting on the cold glass. Had she forgotten to close it? She wasn't sure. She told herself it was nothing. But when she opened Instagram that night, a new notification popped up. A like on an old photo. From an account she didn't recognize. No profile picture. No posts. Just a username, just for you. Rachel's stomach twisted. She clicked on the account. It was empty. No bio, no followers. Just one line in the About section. "You are perfect." Her hands felt suddenly cold. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe it was nothing. But deep down, Rachel already knew. Someone was watching her. Rachel still tried to convince herself it was nothing. But over the next few days, the small details kept piling up. One morning, she found her apartment door unlocked again. This time, she was sure she had locked it. She started double-checking everything. Her windows. Her door. Even small things, her laptop, her closet, the position of her belongings. And yet, things still felt wrong. Her kitchen light, which she always turned off before bed, was on when she woke up. Her shoes, which she kept lined up neatly by the door, had been slightly moved. Rachel told herself she was imagining things. That maybe she was just stressed. But then, on Friday night, she noticed something she couldn't explain away. At 10:14 p.m., as she was scrolling through her phone in bed, a notification popped up. "Your Uber ride is arriving in 2 minutes." Rachel blinked. She hadn't ordered an Uber. Her first thought was that someone must have used her account by mistake. But when she opened the app, she saw the details. Pickup location, right outside her apartment building. Drop off, an address she didn't recognize. Payment, pending. Her heart pounded. Rachel never saved her home address in Uber. But whoever ordered this ride knew exactly where she lived. Her hands shook as she canceled the ride. She stared at her screen, waiting, almost expecting another notification. Nothing. She forced herself to breathe. Maybe it was just a glitch. Maybe it was a stolen account. But as she sat in the silence of her darkened apartment, she felt something she couldn't ignore anymore. This wasn't just bad luck. This was deliberate. Rachel barely slept that night. The Uber notification kept replaying in her mind. By morning, she made a decision. She bought new locks for her apartment door. Changed her passwords. Even called her bank to check for any suspicious activity. But she still couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't enough. And she was right. That night, at exactly 2:32 a.m., she woke up to a sound. Not a loud noise. Not breaking glass or a door slamming, nothing obvious. Just a creak. The kind of sound a floorboard makes when someone steps on it. Rachel's heart slammed against her ribs. She stayed completely still, ears straining in the darkness. Then, another creak. Closer this time. There was someone else. Her throat went dry. She reached for her phone, but it wasn't on the nightstand. Rachel's stomach dropped. She always kept it there. Always. Her hands searched blindly in the sheets, her breathing quick and shallow. Nothing. And then, she saw it. A shadow. Just beyond her bedroom door. Standing still. Watching. Rachel felt ice rush through her veins. Then, her phone screen lit up. A single notification. Unknown device logged into your account. She wasn't just being followed. He was already inside. Rachel's body was frozen, but her mind was screaming. Move. Now. She forced herself to breathe as quietly as possible. Her phone. Where was her phone? The glow from the screen had already faded, plunging the room back into darkness. She didn't dare move. Footsteps. Slow. Controlled. Whoever was standing outside her bedroom door wasn't rushing. They were waiting. Rachel's fingers curled around the edge of her blanket. She had seconds to decide. Option 1, stay still. Hope they leave. Option 2, run. She moved. In one desperate motion, she threw herself off the bed and lunged toward the window. The street below was empty, quiet, too far to jump. Behind her, the bedroom door creaked open. Rachel spun around just as a shadowed figure stepped inside. She couldn't see his face, just the outline. The shape. But she already knew. It was him. Her instincts took over. She bolted for the hallway, slamming the door behind her. The sound of footsteps following. Rachel ran, barefoot, heart hammering, adrenaline flooding her veins, straight to the front door. She reached for the deadbolt, but it wouldn't turn. She tried again. Nothing. The lock didn't respond, like it wasn't hers to open anymore. A breath behind her. Then, silence. Rachel Miller was reported missing on March 4, 2017. She never showed up for work. Never answered her phone. Never replied to messages. At first, her friends assumed she'd just gone off-grid for a while, maybe a last-minute trip, maybe stress. But by the second day, that excuse didn't hold up anymore. Her best friend, Emily Carter, was the first to call the police. The responding officers arrived at Rachel's apartment complex just before noon. Her car was still in the garage. Her mailbox was untouched. And then they reached her front door. It was locked. From the inside. There were no signs of forced entry. But what they found inside was worse. The living room was too clean, nothing knocked over, no signs of a struggle. Her phone, laptop, and purse were gone. But one thing was left behind. A single, handwritten note on the kitchen counter. 3 words. Thank you, Rachel. That's when the case turned cold. For days, detectives had nothing. No fingerprints. No security footage from inside the building. No calls or messages from Rachel since the night she disappeared. But something about the note didn't sit right. Thank you, Rachel. It was too personal, not a random crime, not a burglary gone wrong. Whoever left it knew her. That's when investigators went back to the apartment building's external surveillance cameras. They had already seen Rachel enter her building on the night of March 3rd. But what about after? At 2:51 a.m., a traffic camera 3 blocks away captured a black sedan, parked at the curb. And 2 minutes later, a figure appeared. A woman. Barefoot. Wearing an oversized hoodie. She walked straight toward the passenger side. The door opened. She got in. And the car drove away. Rachel Miller wasn't running. She wasn't struggling. She had left willingly. Or at least, that's how it looked. Detectives replayed the footage over and over. Rachel Miller. 2:53 a.m. Barefoot. Wearing an oversized hoodie that wasn't hers. Walking toward the black sedan. She got in. The car drove off. And then, nothing. No more cameras caught the vehicle. No more sightings. It was as if they had disappeared into the night. For days, investigators searched through traffic footage, nearby gas stations, highway toll booths, anywhere the car could have been picked up again. Nothing. Then, on March 22, nearly 3 weeks after Rachel vanished, the case finally broke open. A license plate match. A traffic camera in Northbridge, a small town 40 miles away, flagged a black 2010 Nissan Altima matching the vehicle seen in Rachel's case. The car was registered to a man named David Crosswell. A name detectives had never seen before. No prior arrests. No history of violence. Just a quiet 42-year-old librarian who had lived alone for years. Officers were dispatched immediately to his last known address. But what they found wasn't a home. It was an abandoned house on Hollow Creek Road. A place where no one had lived for over a decade. The house sat at the end of a long dirt road, surrounded by overgrown trees. No lights. No signs of life. But someone had been here. Recently. The front door was locked, but when officers circled around the back, they found it. A basement entrance. Left slightly open. Guns drawn, they moved in. The air inside was stale, heavy, suffocating. The walls were covered in dust, except for a single hallway leading down into the basement, where the dust had been disturbed. Someone had been walking there. Often. The staircase was narrow, creaking under each step. And at the bottom, a room. No windows. No decorations. Just 4 concrete walls, a chair, and a single mattress on the floor. And on the table beside it, a phone. Rachel's phone. The screen was cracked, the battery dead. But there was something worse. A notebook. It was open to a page filled with handwritten notes. Times. Locations. Names. Rachel's name was at the top of the list. But she wasn't the only one. David Crosswell was found less than 2 hours later, driving down a deserted highway, just a few miles from the abandoned house. He didn't resist. Didn't even try to run. In the back seat of his car, detectives found a single bag. Inside, there were clothes, food supplies, and another notebook. This one was different. It was filled with pages of handwritten text, letters to Rachel. Crosswell remained silent during the entire interrogation, barely acknowledging the officers. But his eyes, they never wavered. He only said one thing. She was special. She understood. Rachel Miller was never seen again. In the days that followed, investigators searched the area surrounding the abandoned house, combing through every inch of land. But Rachel was gone. All they had were Crosswell's letters, obsessive, delusional notes detailing how he believed Rachel was different from all the others. How she was perfect. He claimed he had saved her, but never explained what he meant by that. David Crosswell became the prime suspect in Rachel's disappearance, but the absence of a body left many questions unanswered. To this day, the fate of Rachel Miller remains a haunting mystery. Did she escape? Is she still out there somewhere? Or did she meet a darker end, one the world may never truly understand? The only certainty is that Rachel's case changed the way people looked at safety, at strangers, and at what might be hidden just beneath the surface of ordinary life. If you have any theories or thoughts about what happened to Rachel, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay safe. And remember, sometimes the most mysterious things are the ones we never notice.